Hey, good morning, friends. This is Vinay from DreamDex presenting another WordPress security knowledge base. And today's topic is the right mindset for WordPress security. Well, as the topic explains, when it comes to WordPress security, it's important to have a solid foundation for looking at your website with a critical eye towards making it more secure. We we intend to provide a number of insights on this topic, including the most common type of attacks, why hacker attacks, and the tips to make your website or your WordPress website more secure. Getting hacked is not as easy as you might think. That's as long as you don't practice negligence in best security practices. There are a few things that can open up your WordPress portal to security vulnerabilities to on WordPress, and there are various things which you should know or be aware of that can cause issues with your WordPress site from security perspective. The first and the most common is outdated components. The main way to attack a WordPress site is through outdated components like themes, plugins, or the WordPress core coding, or even the hosting infrastructure itself. The number one thing to make sure you do is to upgrade all the things that you have on your WordPress website as an asset. The second thing might be, the most important second thing is pirating premium themes and plugins. Even though you get it for free, pirating should always be avoided due to security concerns. This is a bad idea because the script contained in the pirated version are likely cracked, and thus meaning these cracked items are not up to date with the latest security patches that a plugin or a theme or any other asset provides time to time. Uh, Reusing unaudited code, it's never a very good idea to reuse an unaudited code. You can look at the change log to detect this, to see whether or not a theme or a plugin is safe to use. By looking at the log, it will include details regarding the code has been changed, what has been modified based on security update, and so on. uh, Friends, one of the most uh, you know it might sound pretty simple, but that's very important. Whenever you add someone as a user on your WordPress website, be very careful with it. Not everyone needs to be an admin within your WordPress install. Make sure you are cautious about who you give privileges to and what kind of privileges you're offering to them. In addition, you should always enforce, probably strong passwords for user on your website. Probably set a rule on your website so that the password expires, you know, in a certain time limit, and so on. So there are various things you can do with it. uh, and there is a larger perspective. Getting a big picture of security from above can help you get a high level of view in whether or not your system are secure. Make sure to evaluate if you have been chosen to, the most secure options. That way you will feel more confident about it in the future, and um, you know be sure that you're safe with your website. uh, you can you can start doing it by evaluating your assets, and form a plan with your website security. Think about internal means, corporate system, business relationship, and public means your site visitor in large as an assets that could be affected by your security. you know the way in which you can provide defense and security to these assets are to reduce the impact of issues, make sure a breach in one area won't spread to another. So you plan your security modules, your security framework in such a way that if one part of your website is attacked, the other part of the websites are not affected. and your ability to know that something has gone wrong and respond to it in jiffy, right? You it's pretty important for you to understand the motives of the hackers, the attackers. You might be wondering why would someone want to attack your website. There are many motives for malicious behavior, some including money, spam operations, fraud ads, fame, malware distribution, and just straight up evil people who enjoy causing destruction for others. uh, and what are those possible threats to your website from these bad guys? One of the main attack you will hear about are brute force attacks. This is where a bad guy uses a dictionary to try and constantly guess a password through thousands of login attempts. Once they log in, they will do something like put ads or something on your website so that they can make money off your hacked websites. Second possible threat is your FTP injections. They are most common malware that plagues WordPress websites. This is where an attacker brute forces a service, and once they get in, they will find all PHP files or your different coding, and they embed some scripts or malware or infectious PHP code in there to mess up your website. um, this for developers specifically, there is one point I would like to mention here is exploitation of old tools, the old school type tools that most some of the developers they use on WordPress websites. Old tool refers to when web developers will have a tool on a blog they're using to do some sort of operations. It can be anything, some specific functionality on something in common. There are several tools out there that have been exploited to inject ads and things like that because they expose access to the database or file enlarge. Uh, and they might be unauthenticated file uploads. That is exactly what it sounds like. A bad guy can upload anything. For instance, malicious PHP script that try to take over the web server. For example, uh, in a blog there is a commenting feature, right? So you can comment on a specific article or a blog post, right? So imagine someone executes a PHP script or a JavaScript on your commenting section because you tend to allow at times the HTML code or scripts to be executed in the commenting section. So make sure your commenting section doesn't execute any kind of scripts. There are cross-site scripting is where unsanitized input can be exploited to embed malicious JavaScript into your page or a post. Uh, and one thing in common that a developer tend to forget while releasing a website, the information disclosure. That is where a bad guy can get information about your web server. For instance, if you leave your log exposed, they can give file path information, and that can lead some serious damage to your website because a hacker knows about your file path, the structure of your files in the server. Although there are various ways to get hacked, but these were the most common. Please make sure you are aware of these threats and do necessary things to safeguard your website. Probably hire a WordPress security consultant and possibly host your website in a most secure hosting environment. One thing I can offer you is WP Engine, for instance. They are a pretty secure framework from hosting perspective, and they offer some real scrutiny of getting hacked and stuff like that. So you can visit their website for more information. Uh, well, friends, Dreamdex wishes you a safe and enjoyable WordPress experience. If you need us, you can leave a comment in this article. I hope you enjoy your day. Thank you.